And now we're going to work on the first colors. So let's start off with a little bit of sky. I'm going to get too rambunctious with the sky today, I don't think. Let me kind of think about the colors, though, I'm going to use. It's not all of them. Let's go ahead and oil the canvas up. So we're just using liquid clear here. And we won't need a lot of it on here, so we're going to kind of put this on and then we'll take it off with a paper towel, the rest of it that we don't need. And we'll kind of steal it from here and there. Alright, so chat's connected. You gotta say hello when you come in, so I know you're here. Alright. I can tell my arms are going to give me trouble today. So for those of you that don't know, I have spent the last several months a good bit of time. I'm working with a cat rescue organization. My job is not to rescue the cats. My job is to pet them. So I go over 3 times a week for a couple hours, somewhere around 3 hours each time, and pet the cats. But with the coronavirus, it's kind of weird. A lot of people are quote quote working at home, but people are actually not working. They're just at home, and so they've had a lot more time to spend over there. So it kind of crowded me out the last couple of weeks, and so it's been kind of rough to get in to see my kids. So, but I did get to go see them today. It was good. I have a bunch of new cats. About half a dozen of my old cats all got. They're not old. The cats that I had there before all got adopted. So, all right, let's start working on this. So we're gonna layer these in. We're not gonna put. We've got some medium on the canvas. We probably won't use a lot of medium to put these colors on. So I want to be trying out some new brushes today. We'll see how that goes too. All right, let's see. Yeah, so I want to try this new brush. I have this new synthetic brush that I've been wanting to try out. So let's kind of look this into the sky. Most of the sun is on this part of the sky over here. And if you've done a really good job with your under painting, you can, pretty much let that stuff pick up what's underneath your shadows, and you can either add colors over that, or you can just keep using that. It doesn't really matter. All right, now I'm going to add a little bit of orange to this. It's a little bit much. Now really, you can kind of hold your brush back like this and apply this color so that you're just applying it, a little bit at a time. Because what you really don't want to kind of get in there and scrub it. Just kind of glazing this on. I have to be switching hands today because if you've missed my other streams, I've got a bad shoulder. It's giving me some trouble. So let's see. We'll see how that goes. So now we're in this orange and yellow mix. We're kind of adding some cerulean blue as we start to move up into the sky. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. At least I think I am. Now we're adding some of this orange to it because we want the sky to turn green. Although green sky is pretty common where I live, especially at sunset. There's a very distinctive green tint to the sky when all of this is going on, when sunset is coming. I'm just going to clean the brush because I want to move back to some of the yellow. And we'll come back and add some orange to this momentarily. Not too worried about getting that on the bell because we're going to we can clean all that off with a Q-tip if we want. We're going to let this guy kind of fade up in here and just a little bit orange. So we're going to apply some of the darker orange down here toward the horizon. And as we move up, we'll add some yellow into that. Now we're just adding straight cadmium orange to where these clouds are.
Did you find your drink?
Yeah, not till after I sat down though. It's over here, right here, by where I'm sitting. Although that's where I thought it was, but couldn't find it. All right. Let's blend some of that in there. I just want to experiment a little bit, so let's do some of that. think I'll be needing a lot of titanium white in this particular. Well, I'll need it when I start highlighting, I reckon. But all right. So now we're kind of layering some color in over the color we've already put in. Start kind of adding some depth to that. Not a lot. I don't want a lot. I'm just going to wipe the brush out. A little more brightness right there. And we're going to paint down onto these trees because we want the sky to be able to show through those trees when we get down to that part. All right. That looks pretty good, I reckon. It'll do for now. I'm going to switch brushes for a second. And the only reason I am is because I want to blend this with a different brush stroke. So I want to be sure I do that. Clean that brush. Right away. Use it again later. All right. Got some trees off in the distance, so I'll use a fan brush to put those in. And let's use some. Let's use some sap green and some yellow. Those trees are in the distance, so they're not going to be very dark. And we've got these open fields that are coming in, and some other trees, and this looks like phthalo blue, phthalo green. Yeah, that's the wrong color. Sap green. Here we go. Okay, this is the last of this tube. Used up a few tubes the last couple of days, so that's good. All right, we got some sap green, some cad yellow, yeah, it might work. It's a little light, I think. hoping to be a little more on the blue side too, so just to kind of I'll probably be using a softer brush on this. Probably work better. So let's do that. Let's just switch back over to the brush we were using earlier. I'm so used to putting landscape in a lot of times with just the either fan brush or a filbert. I like using those. This is a filbert, a very soft filbert. And don't worry, we'll come back and clean up that bell. Clean the paint off of that bell a little bit. We're not in a big hurry for that. It doesn't really harm anything. Keep these brush strokes just kind of loose up in here. This yellow is a gambling 1980 color, and it's a lot more loose than the sap green, the Bob Ross sap green we're adding to it. So I'm gonna wrestle with that a little bit probably, and we will. That's okay. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I want to add like right along in here. Put some shadow along this tree ridge. We're going to paint right over that chain because if we don't, we're going to end up getting a shadow, not a shadow, a halo around that. And I don't really want that, so. Paint right over this chain. I'm not going to worry about it right now. We'll just pretend like it's not there. I'm going to start to add a little bit of highlight here. And we will add some more highlight to this in a little bit. But we're throwing a little bit more dark in the form of oh no, I just realized something. Okay, that's okay, we can fix it. All of this part in here has got to be painted. It was a wipe down spot in the original underpainting, but it's not in the final. All right, there we go. And then we've got to add some orange up there for the sky. So let's just do that while we're thinking about it. Clean the brush. Clean it out really good. We don't want to take any of that don't want to take any of that thinner back up to the canvas. This cad orange is a Whitman Newton color. Of course, we're going to have to blend that again. All right, now before we carry on, let's clean off that bell. And then we'll, just for now, so we can make sure that we've got a good kind of sky blend on that. So we'll take a Q-tip or two, we'll see how many. Now it's always nice when you're painting, adding first colors to an underpainting, if you only got one, like a still life where you've got one subject. But in this case, that's not going to be the case because we've got multiple layers of paint subjects in here. So I think when I originally counted them, there's like 13. There'll be 13 layers, which is usually what I try to strive for in depth. So 13 or more. Mostly though, I seem to, my eye tends to drift toward 13 layers, almost without fail. Not always, but almost without fail. When I go back and count them, that's what I got. Alright, so we're going to do the bell last because it's all the way up front. Alright, that looks pretty good, I reckon, for now, anyway. Alright. Okie dokie. Let's start moving this green. Now, we're going to take this green. We're going to make a mid-tone of that. And of course, in each of these strokes, when you start putting these in, yeah, see that mid-tone just overcame that tree right there. That's okay. So now you can see here the mid-tone kind of add some highlight in here, right in this area. It's kind of where the main sun is, so it's kind of where we're going to put it. We'll put the tree back in a little while. All right. So just adding a little bit of shadow right along the edge of this tree line. I'm going to kind of leave that in a fog a little bit. finish up this side now. Put this dark layer in here, right there. I'm going to clean the brush up. Wipe off, make sure we get all the thinner out of it. Okay, that's pretty good. Add some more of that in a little while. I just want to get that dark laid there. Then we can pick it back up when we're ready for it. All right. Let us continue on a little bit, but we're going to add to this green. We're going to add a little bit of Viridian and see how that does for us. Not sure how I like that, but we'll find out. We shall find out. We shall find out. Now, I think looking at these fields, I think I'm going to want to add like just maybe a hint of these. Nah, not really like that. Let's put that so get back off. I didn't like it. All right. Now, I don't really like this really dark green right here. It looks a little too. I'm going to kind of do like that. All right. Let's add some highlights to that, just to kind of offset it some. There we go. That looks better. And then maybe some darker green down here. Okay. Maybe. Just bring this like this. Reshape this land. There we go. I'm going to add a little bit of that color over here. Okay. Yeah, a little bit of highlight to that as soon as I wipe my hands off. For those of you who are watching post-production, if you have any questions, feel free to just kind of lay them in there in the comments and I'll catch them up. I'll answer them all if possible. All right, let's add some. All right, that's not the right brush, I guess. Not too much oomph in that brush. Let's go back to our soft filbert. I'll add some more highlights in here in a second. Let's put our tree in here. So I've got some paint on the canvas, not a lot of paint right here, but the more paint you have on the canvas, the more you're gonna struggle trying to make it all stick when you start piling layers of paint on there. So let's just kind of shake that down some. And maybe, there we go, that looks better. All right, let's use this little angle brush, and we'll start off with some dark. Lay the dark down first. real good. Okie dokie. Now I'm going to come back with some lighter color. Now we're going to add a little bit of green to that. Moving toward the mid-tone. Alright, there we go. Got our tree in there. Okay, this house is going to be... We're going to have to clean it off first. So I think what we'll do here is we will have... I don't know if I can use this brush or not. We'll try it. Try to make us a white house here. Enough of that. That white is it's a new tube of titanium white, and it's really not thick. All right, let's go to. Let's see if we can touch this with the angle brush. See if we can do this with the angle brush. We'll see. I've got a Hinder song in my head that's just running away with my senses. Alright, we're going to add a little bit of medium to this, just a touch. Try to put these windows and stuff in. And this edge over here. Oh, you know what? That's not how it's supposed to be. There's supposed to be a barn door right there, so. Okay, there we go. All right. Take some of this away. Don't need quite all that much shadow. We'll take some. We'll take some of it. We'll take some and leave the rest. Okay. Now we're good to go. And go to a different flat now. The reason is because I just want to lay a lot of color down here for the moment. Just feel to come down toward this fence. Now we're just mostly laying down a significant amount of color onto the canvas. We're just kind of coloring book style almost for this part, and then we'll come back and add details and stuff. Just get the main color in first. If nothing else, I hope what you take away from this is that there's not too much that you can do, but you can't just pick up a Q-tip and erase. So don't worry about getting things like perfect, like right off the bat. Sometimes I think we get stuck trying to do things that are perfect, and we don't get the art down because we're busy trying to be perfect instead of getting the art down. Let the canvas kind of tell you where to go. People are always telling you where to go, so it should be fairly easy to let the canvas tell you where to go. All right. And the part of that there is a road, and this part's not right here. So we'll come back and clean these posts up in a minute. Let's just get the color down for now. This is more or less the mid-tone, this sap green here up in where we are now. This area. A bunch of shadows and things that we have to add back in, but that's okay. We'll do that. We'll do that. We're just kind of pushing the paint around and letting it set up the landscape for us. And decide where it's all going to go in just which direction it's going to go in just a second. Get the color down first. All right, we're letting that brown show through because you can see ground, in a landscape. All right. Now, without cleaning the brush, let's just kind of add some highlights. So we're going to have a few, like right here. It's going to be some. I'll add a little bit of yellow to that. And then we'll have some down this way. let that color kind of fade as we go. There we go. All right, now I can hold for that part because I want to get some of these other things as we go forward. So got a couple things here to deal with, and one is this slope right here. You want to be careful when you put this road in. Don't make this hillside look so freaking steep. It doesn't look like a tractor could ever make it up it, right? So I'm gonna let that kind of fade right there, and then we'll put a nice bright tree in there in a second. All right. Okie dokie. Okay, let's do some highlighting. So we're going to have a fence post here, and a fence post here. Some highlighting and shadowing at the same time, I guess. So we'll put this fence in, and then we'll put, well, tell you what, we're going to put some of the posts in, and then we'll put the road in, and then we'll finish the post. How's that? Sound like a deal? We may change our mind as we go. We'll find out. All right. So let's get some. Let's get some. I'll tell you what. Where'd that color go? I have this transparent red oxide color that I've been wanting to try out on the road. So let's try that. If we don't like it, we'll take it back up. But let's try it. But I think it'll be a neat color. Yeah, seems to come down okay. So I need my Q-tip for a second. Where'd it go? Some of this is grass got up on the road. All right. We'll probably spend as much time working on the bell as we spend on the rest of the whole painting, probably. It's okay. It's really the thing we're showcasing. All right. Let's add some shadows here and there. Okay, now I need a smaller brush. Just a small brush. I just want, well, Just a few things growing along the edge of the road here. All right. Now let's see if we let's add a little bit of highlight to that. There we go. Okay. All right. So we have what we need, I think, really to paint the fence. Let's mix up a color here real quick. This highlight side. Let's try this. Yeah, that might work. They don't all have to be the same exact color. Go back and add the shadows in a second. I'm going to use the same oxide color with some black and a little bit of medium to put the shadows in. There we go. That looks pretty good. At least that one does. All right, let's put some barbed wire in. Barbed wire. I probably would have liked these posts if they were a little more gray than brown, but that's okay. I was just thinking I probably couldn't do that again, but I have to do it 3 more times. So let's just do it. Now, there's a couple things you could do. You could do this fence and have it wrap around the back of the post, and then just touch it up and hit it on dark spots each place. But I didn't want to do it that way. I wanted to have them come around the front because I remember working on the farm when putting up fences was tough. It's one of the toughest things my grandpa had me do. But we got it done. Okay. Put that away for a little while. Okay, let's finish up this grass now. Let's go back to the flat. We'll go back to some highlight. We're going to come back and finish these posts in a minute too. We're going to put their shadows in. I'm just trying to get these highlights in. Composition wise, I don't know if there'd be a right where, what I wanted to do in this was have the fields going in like all kinds of different directions, because they get plowed in different directions. At least where I live, they do. So, I wanted to kind of help separate those fields out by doing that. So, and over here, we're going to put some highlights, but not as many. Because I want some of that to show through. Okay. All right, I'm going to blend that. Now we're going to put the post shadows in. So let's do that. I'll get some paint off my hands. At least it felt like it was on there. It doesn't look like there was, but all right. So let's use this to blend this. Keep that over here. We'll use it some more. I hope this live is working okay. I don't know if it is or not, but let's stick with this color. Oh, you know what? Before we do that, one more Q-tip. Because we want this paint to stick pretty good, so as you can see, if you can't see, I'll show you here in a second. You can see there was a good bit of paint on that post. So let's just kind of just made a mistake here. We're gonna fix it. When I brought my hand down, I had my hand across like this, and instead of bringing my whole arm, I just pushed my hand down. It caused the post to be a little bit crooked. So we're gonna fix it right now. So we're just gonna bring in here, pull this color back in. We are lifting some of that color, so all right. All right, there we go. All right, we'll let this sit for a second, and then we'll put some more paint on. We'll either wipe it off and put some more back on, or we'll get the paint to stick. We'll find out which one here momentarily. All right, so I need some more sap green. Seems to me I had a new tube of that. Yep, here it is. So this is a matter of just getting the paint to stick. And that's doing just fine. Okay, good deal. All right, let's paint some shadows. Let's paint some shadows. Then we'll turn this, probably turn it upside down, work on the bell. Flat brushes, please. And let's go with... You know what, I could use one more angle brush in my collection of brushes, even though I constantly say I have too many brushes. I think I could use one more. But I'll use this flat. I'll use this flat. Alright, so now we got... Okay, we're gonna let that sit for just a minute. Let that oil kind of soak in, and then we will blend it just a little bit, not much. All right, let's go with this. So let's mix up a color for this bell. I hope I'm going to mix a color. We'll see. Mix it up on the brush. While that's drying, we will, down there, we will work on this belt. So I switched the brushes here. I'm kind of trying to get a feel for the pattern of this brush. How it lays down the paint. It's doing all right. Now, let's add some highlight to this. trying to get a sharp edge on this brush. Now this part under here is all really dark, but there's some light in it, and we'll put that in there in a second. All right, and then let's see. Let's wipe this brush out. We're not going to clean it. We're just going to wipe it out, and then we're going to add a little bit of light. On the back side of this bell. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, it looks okay. All right. This could be maybe a little bit lighter. Let's make this not so black. All right. Okay, let's clean up some brushes, and then we'll start working on the last part, the yoke. The yoke has a lot of different highlights on it, so we're going to have to take our time, make sure we catch all those, and make sure we get the color scheme right. All right, one more brush here. All right, let's just take this brush here. Okay. don't have much to say about this part other than I'm mixing the colors on the brush, so I don't really want the color to be completely uniform across this bell because cast iron is kind of not like that anyway. Oh, I said we could do the bell. I forgot about that barn back there. So we gotta do that barn. Oh well. We may be late for dinner. Now, originally I had planned to paint these highlights in straight titanium white, but I don't think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'll just make it a even lighter gray, or maybe even a reflective blue. I don't know, something like that. I thought I might have some company today on video, but we didn't. So if I had known that, I would have played some music. But yeah, you never can tell, I don't guess. That's the thing about lives. Never know. Never know. All right. Let's try this light gray. Ooh, almost messed up. Probably blend this just a little bit, maybe. All right, we're gonna clean this brush, clean this color out, and we're gonna work on this rubber arm, and it's gonna be a dark gray with some black thrown in, so it's gonna be almost black. I hate painting circles. They're such a pain in the butt. But these chains, you almost have to just, this is what you do. I'm going to come back and add some shadows in a moment. First, I'm going to scoop some of this paint off. There we go. And I took a picture of a piece of chain earlier today so that I could kind of get an idea about the shadow of that. Oh, there's still one more. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit of medium to this. Where is it? There it is. It's too much medium. Okay, we're getting towards the end, so it's getting tired. Slow down a little bit. All right, paint the top here. Da, 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 da. All right, let's paint the barn really quick. Just need a little bit of red to do that. Oh, you know what? I gotta paint the bolts. The bolts, Benjamin, the bolts. All right. Okay, let's put the bolts in, and we'll be done. At least I hope we'll be done. I might see something else. You'll never can tell about me. Okay, here we go. right, guys and gals, I think that'll do it. I know you guys will be watching this post-production, but thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.